Hello, and welcome to a discussion video, or whatever you want to call this in technical terminologies. Just a couple days ago, started a new channel for all my video game music files. Yeah, well, long story short, it all started out with my music channel 2 years ago, where I would make music video audio files for a lot of the artists I like that YouTube copyright policies would allow me to upload. People have asked why there's no Beatles or no Fleetwood Mac or no Eagles or no Guns N' Roses or no AC/DC. Simple answer for that, YouTube copyright policies. Every time I tried to upload a video from any of those bands, it usually got blocked before the uploading was even completed. So therefore, I just removed it, since there would be no point in nobody would be able to watch it anyways. But anyways, then I started getting into video gameplay, recording it with OBS, doing my video game playthroughs. And at first, I'd upload them onto my music channel until that got, with all of the multitude of music video files, and now my gaming playthroughs just got too confusing to try to sort through all of it, even for me. So I created my gaming channel. But yeah, was going to bring all of the video game music files over to the gaming channel, but some people said that probably wouldn't be a good idea, and I was inclined to agree at the time, and I still do. So enter the new channel for all my video game music files that I made. Of course, I started doing that because of YouTube copyright policies on music files. I had 2 copyright strikes on my music channel. I was a little worried that I might lose the channel due to copyright violations. And since most video game music seems to be copyright safe, I started doing a lot more of those during that time. But anyways, the point of this video, other than to announce the video game music channel, while we're on the subject of video game music, play and talk about some of my favorite video game music. Granted, I don't know how much of what you're hearing in the background will remain in the finished YouTube video due to the aforementioned YouTube copyright policies. How much of it I'll have to mute out, or if the video will even stay in the first place, but we'll see once I upload this, I guess. Now, playing at least a couple times while I ranted on about my YouTube history, Baron Castle from Final Fantasy IV. Yeah, one of those where the soundtrack is better than the game itself, in my opinion. I mean, I know a legion of Final Fantasy fans is going to hate me for saying that, as so many, especially the older fans like myself, who have been fans since practically since the beginning in 1990. A lot of longtime Final Fantasy fans are going to hate me for saying that, as so many of them that I've known either personally or talked to over the internet consider Final Fantasy IV to not only be the best in that series, but one of the better games of all time, period. Well, my friends, you're right to your opinion. All is fair. It's only video game opinions after all. No need to get all hostile and vulgar about it. But, on the contrary, I beg to differ. I mean, I have been playing Final Fantasy IV via the Switch Pixel Remaster, and thanks to the sped up level grinding option, it ain't too bad. Because Edward is still kind of useless, but at least when he's more higher leveled up, he doesn't run away as much. And plus, maybe they fixed that entirely since it is a remaster. So yeah, if I'm going to play Final Fantasy IV, it's going to be the Pixel Remaster. Not the Super Nintendo original as Final Fantasy II, or even the Game Boy Advance remake as Final Fantasy IV with extra footage added to it. Yeah. The gameplay itself is atrocious, but the soundtrack is stellar. Not just Baron Castle here now playing for a 3rd or 4th time in this video, but or another example of Final Fantasy IV's soundtrack quality Fabul, or Fabul, however you pronounce that town's name, where Jan comes from. Yeah. The Mystidia music. I mean, I'm not going to play every track I like on the Final Fantasy IV soundtrack, but yes, disagree with me if you will, but in my opinion, Final Fantasy IV is definitely one of those games where the soundtrack is far superior to the game itself. Not even close competition. The soundtrack just blows the rest of the game away, so to speak, for lack of better terminology there. Kind of ironic that such a stellar soundtrack comes for such an abysmally bad game. Yeah. Unless, of course, you're talking about the new remaster for the Switch. Then it ain't so bad. Still not exactly a game I'm going to play multiple times, but at least it's a game I can tolerate playing. More than can be said for any of the other remakes and iterations of the game. But anyways, enough about Final Fantasy IV. Just again, long story short, in my opinion, disagree if you will. It's one of the few games in gaming history that I can think of right off the top of my head where the soundtrack far outclasses the game it's for. What? Oh, great, I didn't even have a video there. What the heck? Oh, shoot, now, great time to notice that. All I was picking up was the audio. I don't even, well, it's just a picture of the Final Fantasy IV logo anyway, so you're not exactly missing much. Sorry about that, though. I mean, at least it would have been something on screen just now. Oops. Offhand, I'd say I goofed. Again, apologies for that when you're watching this video on YouTube. I didn't even notice that until just now. No video, just a black screen. Oops. Alright, there we go. That fixes that. Sorry about the last part. Fabul portion of this video. Yeah. Up to Final Fantasy V. Great soundtrack, only this time even the game itself is much more playable. My second favorite Final Fantasy game, topped only by what should be obvious if you've seen my videos before, Final Fantasy VII. Of course, that evaluation opinion may change in the coming months. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VI on the Pixel Remaster on Switch, and yeah, forgot how good a game that one was, or is, since I haven't played that game in ages, until just recently. Yeah. 6 could very easily overtake 5 as my second favorite Final Fantasy game. I mean, I highly doubt I'll ever get to a point where I'm saying 6 is the best of all time, even better than Final Fantasy VII. I highly doubt it's ever going to come to that, but as for music track, for T-U-L-E Village, the first town of Final Fantasy V, is the music theme playing here if you didn't already know. And, well, okay. Wondering what happened to my audio. Well, I started a playthrough, or at least I'm going to, in the coming days, start recording a playthrough of this game. And as I'll probably point out as I'm playing through the game in the early phases, I still say this village theme reminds me of the old SimCity, Super Nintendo version of SimCity from the early 90s. The music you hear in that game for most of the game. And I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying that's what it reminds me of for some reason. So don't go filling the comments full of, are you deaf kind of, insultive comments. I'm not saying it is the same track, I'm just saying it's what it reminds me of. It's probably not the same track at all, just me personally. That's what I think of when I hear it. And as of right now, I don't even think I have a copy of that SimCity music file I'm referring to give you an example of. I don't think I have an audio file of that soundtrack. Anyways, of course, other than to announce my new video game music channel, the other purpose of this video was going to be to do a top 10, my 10 favorite video game music tracks. But at this point, it's nearly impossible. Out of all of the games I like and all of the music from them, I don't think I could do an authoritative, all-conclusive, this is it, top 10, and stick with it. Now with so many good Zelda games having, Zelda, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and another series that's routinely had good music themes. Of course, this is coming from someone who admittedly for 10 years would turn the sound off on the TV and put on whatever rock album he was into at the time. And that would be my music for my gameplay. Yeah, for 10 years, or close to 11 years, actually a little over 11 years. Got our first NES, like I've said in many videos before, in early 1988. And due to some of the NES soundtracks, I wasn't exactly, I loved the games, but I wasn't exactly a fan of the music. So I got into the habit, like I've said before, of turning the sound down on the TV and putting on whatever rock album I was into at that point in time, and that would be my music for my gameplay. And that went on for about 11 years, give or take a few months, until early 1999, we got our first N64 to play this game, Ocarina of Time. Get past the introduction screen, start playing. And for some reason, I wasn't in the mood to put on any CDs at that point in time on that specific day, so I just let the video game music play out, and I hear this quirky, weird little music piece, song. Hey, this ain't so bad. Okay. It's, weird, but kind of cool. And again, that's one of the reasons I have such high regard. That's one of the reasons I have such high regard for the game Ocarina of Time. It's the game that actually made me care about video game music. If you could imagine, again, up until then, I'd turn the sound down on the TV and completely ignore the end-game music. Until this game. Kokiri Forest. Spirit Temple. Hyrule Field. If being the figurative word here, I were to ever rate my favorite Zelda themes, this would at least be in the top 3 just for the nostalgic value alone and the fact that it's what made me actually care about video game music to begin with. If not for this, I probably still to this day would just be turning the sound down on my TV or my Switch and playing whatever, like I always had for that first 11 years of gaming. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, like I said, that's one of the reasons I have such high regard for Ocarina of Time, the game that actually made me care about video game music. Of course, Ocarina of Time, at least originally, in the original first edition NES Gold cart in November of 1998, when the game was first released on the 23rd day of that month. The original soundtrack did have a little bit of a slightly controversial theme for the Fire Temple. That is, before Nintendo changed it for all subsequent re-releases and remasters. Like I believe I pointed out in my Ocarina of Time playthrough last year when I played through the game, Nintendo changed this for the fact that that chanting gets annoying by the time you're done in the Fire Temple. If they changed it for annoyance purposes, I would be all for it. But the fact that they changed it for religious reasons makes me want to flip Nintendo executives my middle finger, both of them. Frick, even make my toes flip them the middle toe. Keep thy religion to thyself. Making the changes because it might offend some religious people or something. Really? Let them be offended then. I mean, believe me, there's worse things you can do to a person than offend them, aka hurt their itty bitty widow feeling. They will live. They will get over it. They may hate you, but they will get over it. I would think you'd be more concerned about beating them to a bloody pulp than hurting their itty bitty widow feelings. But oh well. But yeah, again, had the change been made because of the fact that chanting gets annoying by the time you're done in the Fire Temple if you're playing the original 1.0 version of the game, I would be all for it because god dang, it sure does. Hearing that chanting every 4 or 5 minutes on average. Not even that long, pardon me. But again, the fact that they changed it for religious reasons makes me want to flip Nintendo the middle finger. Though it offends some religious people. Good. I'm glad it offends those religious people. Or at least it did. Or actually, but that, of course, then again, there's the ironic part. It offended no one. People have heard the original. And most of the people that I know that have heard about it know about the original version of this don't really give a damn. You know. So for that purpose, it really didn't matter anyways. This isn't exactly a hidden secret. Pretty much every Ocarina of Time fan knows about this already. And most of them aren't offended in the slightest bit. I mean, there's a few of them that, you know, oh, big deal, cry for me. Cry me a river. You're offended. Oh, I'm just so heartbroken that you're offended. Just breaks me up inside that you're offended over video game content. Not. Get a life. Anyways, I know this video is probably going to be... at least I'm being honest. Hey, hate me if you will. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and act like I, just for the sake of viewers. If I can't be honest with you, then go take your view. Go watch someone else's video. And in all honesty, I'm all for the changes to this soundtrack, this song. Just not for the same reasons that it was actually done. Good God, that chanting gets annoying. Since the only copy of the N64 version that I have is a version 1.0. Got it from my brother. Well, a friend of my brother who got it from a friend of his. Of course, emulation too. So, I mean, yeah. Anyways, but yeah. Again, love the fact that they changed that potentially annoying track. I just hate that they did it for the reason that they did. Anyway, that pretty much sums up my opinion on that issue. Not one of the better tracks anyways. The only reason I even brought it up in this video is to address that point. That I love the fact that they changed it. I just hate the reason why they changed it. But I guess, I should shut up while I'm ahead. At least they changed it, Even if I don't agree with the reason why, at least they did it. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Alright. Well, on a lesser note. Again, I know my comments about the Fire Temple music theme is probably going to get a lot of negativity for this video, but I don't care. I mean, I care, but if that's the way you're going to be about it, if someone else's opinion bothers you that much, then fine. blah, 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 blah. Middle fingers in your face if someone else's opinion bothers you that much. But anyways, easily my favorite dungeon in all of Zelda history to this day, including Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Ocarina of Time's Spirit Temple. Saving the best for last, so to speak. Well, the last normal dungeon, not counting Ganon's castle, or Ganon's tower, or whatever. Music-wise, I would put this up there against Kokiri Forest as my personal favorite, not only of Ocarina of Time, but of Zelda history in general, period. Now, I know a lot of Zelda fans say Song of Storms. Well, I don't really count the Ocarina songs because they only take, what, 5 seconds? Or maybe a little bit more than that on the first time you play them as you're learning them, or they play the whole song. But usually when you replay them, they only take, what, 5-10 seconds? So I usually don't count the Ocarina songs in this game or Majora's Mask in that equation. Blink and you'll miss them. And as far as area themes, a lot of fans have high regard for Gerudo Valley, which is a good music track, don't get me wrong, but never been like, you know, like Ridley's Lair in Super Metroid, or Kokiri Forest, or this one, where it's ever made me want to just put the game down or the controller down and just listen to the music for a few seconds before actually doing anything there. Song of Storms has never been one of those kind of songs, or Gerudo Valley rather, I mean. Nice to hear while I'm in that area, but again, I don't know how much of this audio-wise is actually going to stick in the finished video due to YouTube's copyright policy. So if there's, when you're watching this video on YouTube later today or early tomorrow morning, I'm sorry if some of it ends up getting muted out. YouTube and their copyright policies. Same reason why there's no Beatles videos on my music channel. Not by personal choice, believe you me. YouTube copyright policies that block them before the uploading is even completed, so therefore I just stop the uploading and remove them since nobody's going to be able to watch them anyways. There's no point in having them there. Yeah. Because I tried uploading some of these songs individually, and some of them did get, or at least get partially blocked in certain countries. The problem is I don't remember which ones did and which ones didn't, so that's why I'm kind of pointing this out now. In case one of these that I'm playing on this video are those that got partially blocked originally. They probably will on this video, or at least that portion of it will be muted. So I'm apologizing beforehand just in case, since I don't. Hard to predict YouTube's copyright policies and how it will affect video uploads, okay? I've experienced that multiple times over with my music channel. Decades old songs that you wouldn't think would matter to anyone anymore get blocked. I mean, seriously. Beatles broke up over 40 years ago, over 50 years ago now. You'd think their music would be pretty much free reign. But no. Every Beatles song I ever tried uploading was blocked before it was even done being uploaded. Really? 50 years later. The Beatles have been broken up longer than most music fans have been breathing to begin with. Yeah, YouTube copyright policies are freaking weird. Anyways, back to the subject at hand here. Gameplay-wise, like I said at the intro to this piece, gameplay-wise, easily my favorite dungeon in the history of in the entire history of the Legend of Zelda series. Music-wise, the only one that comes even remotely close would be the next game, Majora's Mask. Stone Tower Temple. Sorry, I had to think of the name of it for a second. Stone Tower Temple. And even then, gameplay-wise for that one too, because you know the whole spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played Majora's Mask. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Skip ahead a few seconds in the video. Stone Tower Temple and the whole light arrow gimmick to turn the temple upside down. And if you're not keeping track of what rooms you've been into, you'd be in the same room and not even realize it because it's now upside down. The room that was the air duct, or what that was the flooded room, is now the air duct room, or vice versa. Wish more games would do that, since backtrack, especially in the Metroidvania genre where backtracking is such a pivotal thing in the game. I wish more games would do that, where you're backtracking to the same area, but because of circumstances you've created, you don't even realize, unless you're really paying attention, you don't even realize it's the same area. More games need to take a cue from Majora's Mask and the Stone Tower Temple, the upside down, right side up, changes everything kind of gimmick. Anyways, alright, Metroid, and within the Metroid series in and of itself, this would be my favorite music track in the entire Metroid franchise, and up to and including the latest installment, Metroid Dread, which it ain't even in that game, but if it were, I don't think it's in. I don't know, I never made it that far in Metroid Dread, since the title, like I've said in other videos, the title of Metroid Dread is fitting. It's the Metroid game I dread to play. I mean, I hate to say that about a traditional 2D Metroid game, but the goddamn that game sucks. Overly milked enemies and janky controls for the shooting, laser beam shooting to kill the enemies. Lead to, in my opinion, the worst Metroid game of all time. I know, as always, that's going to bother some people who love that game. Be that as it will, fine, be bothered that. I love Metroid games, I always have since 1988 when I played the NES original of the first game. I even did a playthrough of that for my channel, my gaming channel. But Metroid Dread, again, justly titled Dread, as it is the Metroid game I dread the thought of playing. Anyways, Ridley's Lair, or Ridley's theme, which is heard in the 3DS remake of Metroid 2, Samus Returns, in every single superheated hot room that you need the gravity suit to survive in, or the various suit rather. So many times when I'm playing that game on my 3DS, I'll put the thing down for a few seconds and just listen to the music. Like, hey, cool, Super Metroid music. Awesome. Of course, it helps that Super Metroid gameplay-wise, in my opinion, is such a stellar game. I don't care how many people disagree. As far as I'm concerned, it's still, Super Metroid gameplay-wise, is still the third best video game ever made in the entire history of video games. Topped only by Final Fantasy VII and Ocarina of Time. That's it. That's all. No, still number 3 of all time, in my opinion. Disagree if you will. You're right to your opinion. All's fair and fine and friendly jargon like that there. But yeah. In my humble opinion, again, only Final Fantasy VII and Ocarina of Time are better than this game. In the entire history of video games, only 2. In fact, I was just playing it the other day on Switch SNES Online. One of those games I can come back to at any point in time and have just as much fun playing it as I did the first time. A lot of games you can't say that about. Every subsequent replay, the game gets a little less enjoyable, a little less fun to replay. But this game, doesn't matter if it's my first playthrough or close to my 100th playthrough, I can still have just as much fun playing it as I did back in 1994 when it first came out. That to me is what makes a good game. Not necessarily just how much fun you had playing it the first time through, but the replayability. You still have as much fun replaying it, 20 years or 30 years later. later as you did the first time. Again, call me crazy if you will, but that to me is one of the things that makes a good game. That makes a timeless classic game. Not just how much fun you had playing it the first time, but decades later, if you're even old enough to have played it decades later, well, you get what I mean by that. There's a lot of gamers today aren't even decades old in the first place. Nothing against you if you aren't. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to cut, I'm not trying to insult kids here, but I'm just saying, a lot of people today couldn't say they played a game decades earlier. They weren't even born decades earlier. So yeah, that kind of excludes you. Again, nothing against you personally. Just you weren't born in 1988, so obviously you couldn't have played the original NES Metroid, at least not at the time. I mean, you can in recent years if you're not Switch NES Online. You wouldn't have much nostalgia for it then, since you just recently, discovered it and played it on some collection somewhere. You didn't play it at the time. Nothing against you again. Nothing against you. You can't help that. Again, I'm not trying to, be insultive to kids here. If you think I am, you're getting the wrong idea. Oh boy, are you ever getting the wrong idea. I'm just saying, nostalgia for a game like this wouldn't be there for a kid who wasn't even born yet in 1994. They wouldn't have any nostalgia for a game like this. That's older than they are. That's all I'm saying with that. Anyways. Of course, yeah, I did do a playthrough. One of the earlier playthroughs I did, I think in like 1 or 2 videos, I think it was. Of course, I did this one back when I was still doing my video game playthroughs and uploading them onto my music channel before I even started the exclusive video game play only channel. Yeah, I think. Yeah, later after starting the gameplay channel, I re-uploaded this onto it. Or my playthrough of this game, that is to say. Yeah, a lot of nostalgia for that game. Alright, and now between Ridley's Lair that I just played for the last several replays, and now Ridgestar, usually when you ask people about their favorite music from this game, it usually boils down to either Ridley's Lair for me and many others, or the Ridgestar theme now playing in the background for people like Pro Jared, I think it was. Or was it this letter S, letter C, Knuckles? One of those people that I watched the playthrough of it for their YouTube channel commented on how this was their favorite music in the game. I think it was Pro Jared when he did the randomized version of this game. It had both this game and A Link to the Past combo randomizer where you get items from one game and the other. But anyways, I do like this music. I mean, from Super Metroid. I don't think the game has any bad music tracks. Of course, I didn't realize that at the time, mind you. I didn't realize that until a few years later after Ocarina of Time had come out, and thanks to Kokiri Forest and other good music tracks in that game. Then I sat there thinking, well, wait a minute. Were there any other games that had good music that I just didn't even bother to take notice of because I was too eager to just turn the sound down on my TV without thinking about it, just out of habit, just instinctively turn the sound down on the TV and, okay, I'm going to play a video game now. Turn down the TV and just instinctively do that. So I went back, mid-1999, I started going back and playing some of the older games and actually listening to the music tracks this time. How did I miss this? I mean, yeah, I was too eager to just turn the sound down on the TV and put on some rock, sure, but still. Again, I bring that up because, again, it's kind of ironic me to be doing a video game music video, but for the longest time I would ignore the video game music and just put on music CD or music cassette tape or whatever. But I always just turn the sound down on the TV. At least that is until Ocarina of Time. Which again, is one of the reasons I have such high regard for that game, because it is the game that actually made me care about video games. Otherwise, to this day, I probably still have that same bad habit of just turning the sound down on the TV and putting on whatever album I want to hear, and having that be my music for the gameplay. I'm probably repeated with emphasis, I'm probably still doing that to this day, if not for Ocarina of Time and its stellar music soundtrack. Anyways, and that'll about do it for this video. Because again, I would like to do it like my 10 favorite music tracks in video games, music tracks of all time. But at this point, such thing would be folly, because I don't think I could come up with an all-complete, all-conclusive, definitive list that I could stick with years later and say, yeah, that's it, that's my favorite, and that's my second. I don't think I could do that with video game music. So many good tracks, games that I'm not even thinking of right offhand. Not only old games, but some of the newer games like Dragon Quest XI or Dragon Quest Treasures, which a lot of that is just from previous Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest games recanted. Or Ever Oasis, game for the 3DS in 2017. It's not just the old retro games, but the new games, newer. Of course, Ever Oasis is hardly a new game anymore now, it's 6 years old, but newer than most of the games I play or talk about on these videos. At least it's within the last 10 years. Anyways, yeah, that'll about do it for this video. Maybe sometime I'll be able to, with confidence, do a top 10 favorite video game music songs of all time list video. But for now, no. There's just too many games with great music to decide between. That and the fact that I've never really given this stuff much thought in terms of all-time basis, all games included. Well. But of course, the main purpose of this video was mainly just to announce my new video game music channel that I'll have links to in the description for this video, and in the home page of my gaming channel, and in my home page of my music channel. I'll have links to it as well, where I'll be uploading all the video game music files that I've made over the years, and then probably deleting them from my music channel. I mean, I don't know about that last part exactly. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching and putting up with my rants and my sometimes annoying opinions. And we'll see you next time. Bye.